Good morning, folks. Well, it's a very balmy sort of overcast day here, so I thought it might be a good opportunity to introduce you to my garden. Spring has finally sprung here. We don't really get spring until November where I live, so generally early to mid-December I've found is the best time to get my veggies in the garden. So come along with me and see what's going on. Just to let you know too, when we first moved in to this place, which was 7 years ago, there was nothing in our garden except for, see that one tree right in the middle there, that weeping birch, that one there. That was the only thing that was there. So wait till you see what we've put in. Lots. Actually, I lie. There was also this weeping cherry and this little box hedge, which my hubby has just trimmed. So there's little bits of hedge everywhere, but that's all right. So through the archway we go. I'll show you this side first, actually. Well, this is just a little hydrangea that I bought. I buy lots of plants from the local buy, swap and sell pages because you get the best deals. You know, little $2 plants that are just cuttings from other people's yards ready to take off. But this little baby, this is a passion fruit vine. So with luck, it's going to crawl all the way up that trellis and give us some yummy passion fruits. Over here, some cuttings from succulents that have grown into beauties. This one also, gee, I can't remember what they're called. No, gone from my brain. Very common though, and also a really easy one to grow from cuttings. Basically just cut it off and stick it in some dirt and it will grow and you will get flowers like this. Someone put a comment and tell me what they're called. I can't remember. Anyway, my mum will know. More hydrangeas from other people's cuttings. This one, I cannot remember what it's called, but it's a creeping vine and it goes, not a real birdie. It goes up the trellis and it produces some beautiful yellow flowers. And it stays green most of the year, which is nice. Over here we have some yuccas or yuccas, whatever you want to call them. And some more beautiful succulents. This one's a little bit spiky down there. And I'm obsessed with succulents because they are so easy to grow, they are so easy to maintain, and they're so beautiful. Look at those beautiful different shapes. So that's my little treasure chest. It was just a broken Lego box or something that the kids had that became a little treasure for my garden. And this beauty behind it is my Granny Smith apple tree. Now that's a dwarf tree, so it won't grow any taller than about 2 meters by 2 meters, they said. So let's hope it stopped now. And I would say that it has because this is the first year. I've only had this in for 3 years. This is the first year that I have got an abundance of little apples budding. Look at these. See the little apple buds? And they are all over it. So how exciting is that? They're everywhere. Little apples, little apples. So I'm not sure, I haven't before, whether or not to net these trees. Someone give me your opinion. I did, you can see, I have for the last couple of years put CDs in them to try and deter the birds. The reason I'm a little bit against the nets is that I had a terrible time. We've got an old nectarine tree out the back and I'll just turn you around, hold on. So we've got an old nectarine tree out the back and every year the birds got all the nectarines before we did. So not last year but the year before I netted it, and then I found two beautiful red glorious colourful parrots, rosellas, that are local to here, dead in the net. They had somehow got in and then got stuck in there and must have just died in there fighting to get out, and that just broke my heart. And so I don't know. So obviously I didn't net it properly, the fact that they got in. So anyway, I don't know about the nets. Someone give me some advice about my fruit trees, please, with the nets, because I really want to eat all these apples. And while I've got you, speaking of apples, see the one in the back? That one is a Fuji apple tree. Now, that one only has 6 apple buds on it, which is very disappointing. But that's normally the one that gives me lots. This one normally gives me nothing. So, you know, the other one's not a dwarf tree though. So maybe it's just busy doing its growing. Whereas this one's finished growing, so now it's time to fruit. Anyway, it's all trial and error. I'm just all learning. We're all learning as we go. We'll see what happens. Every season's different. You never know. But anyway, the one in the back, you may not know if you've never planted apple trees before, that it's actually really important to have 2 apple trees, or at least have maybe a neighbour with a compatible tree, because you need to have 2 compatible apple trees. So either Google it or look it up, ask people at your nursery, wherever you buy them from, because in order to pollinate, the bees go from one tree to the other, and to get good apples, you need to have compatible trees. So you need to have at least 2. So Granny Smith and Fuji apples are compatible. So yeah, you may need to ask your nursery about that to get the right ones. So anyway, getting back to the garden. So over here we have some more succulents. They're so pretty. I love the different colours. This one over here changes colour in the sun. And my pretty little wheelbarrow. Isn't that lovely? Filled with all sorts of delights. See these little ones flaring? They're the same as the ones over there in the treasure chest. Aren't they beautiful? Yep. And I'll show you some other little succulents that I made over this way. That's the kids' storage area for their green machines. Was my nice little walkthrough. See these cups? They were cracked cups and old yucky tea-stained ones. So now they hold my beautiful succulents. Okay, so moving right along, over here is the Fuji apple that I was talking about. I'll see if I can show you. There we go. There's some of those little buds. But I've honestly only counted 6 buds, unless there's some up high that I haven't seen, so a little bit disappointing. But we get a lot of wind up here. Sometimes I wonder if the wind has blown the blossoms off. I don't know, maybe. Over here, potato bed. I haven't planted potatoes in about 4 years. So actually I should tell you that. It's only been 4.5 years since we have had this veggie garden, and honestly I didn't have a clue what I was doing when I started. It's all been trial and error, but anyway, I don't think it's probably been 3 years since I planted potatoes, yet I still get an abundant crop every time, so something good to know. Over here is my composting system. It's not really the most efficient or effective composting system. It's better than nothing, but it's a barrel that spins around, and it has 2 little compartments. I'll show you. So one side you can put in, well, you can be using, while the other side is doing its composting thing. It's just not enough room, given the amount of compost that sort of comes out of the garden. It's not an ideal system. I need something better, but you know, all things will come in their time. So down here Look at that. Beautiful bed. These are old railway sleepers that my hubby scored for free from his father. And I don't think I'll tell you where his father got them because I'm not entirely sure if it was legal. Anyway, they've been put to fantastic use in my garden. And here we have pumpkins. They're actually butternut pumpkins. And they will grow, if you've never grown pumpkins before, they will grow madly and end up sprawled all over, probably all over my hose, everywhere. They run into each other. And in the centre are some marigolds, which are just really lovely to have in your garden, first of all, for a bit of colour. Second of all, they attract the bees to your garden, which obviously gets your veggies started and helps them pollinate. But thirdly, they also keep away some of the damaging or annoying insects. So they're good to have in your garden. Unfortunately, they don't keep the snails away though. The snails pretty much just climb right in and eat the heads off the flowers. So snails, man, they are a dilemma. Sometimes I just spend evenings out here trying to remove as many and as kindly as possible out of my garden beds and put them across. We've got a park area across the road from us. Put them over there. I'm sure they just laugh in my face and come straight back in the middle of the night. But anyway, snails are a bit of a battle. You can only do what you can do, eh? Over to the next bed we have, see, a flowering marigold. And this is the zucchini bed. So if you've never grown zucchinis, that's how they start. Well, once they start, the seed starts to sprout. But they will grow, they'll really spread out. So make sure if you put zucchinis in that you've got plenty of room, because you're going to need at least sort of 40 centimetres around them, because they flower right out. They don't grow considerably high, maybe about, certainly not even a metre high, but they will spread out. I mean, maybe 60 centimetres high, something like that, depending on how long your season probably is. But they do put out a lot of zucchinis, and we go through heaps in our family. But you do need room for them, so just be aware of that. Over here we have eggplant. Now, I've never grown eggplants before, so they are compatible with tomatoes. They're from the same family, the nightshades. So I guess we'll just see how they go. Hopefully I've planted them okay. They're getting some good sun where they are, and they're in there with some large tomatoes and some more marigolds in the middle, and up the back is some cherry tomatoes. So we will be loving those. The kids eat the cherry tomatoes like lollies straight off the vine. They absolutely love them. Over here we have yellow button squash. 4 little seedlings there. Now they actually spread out much larger than you would think too, but they grow heaps and heaps of little squash on them, so they're a really good one. I've got more of those up the back as well, and in the centre, with probably not enough room, but we'll see how we go, lots and lots of sweet corn on the cob. So look, ideally it would have been great to also have some beans in here. If you're not familiar, they call it a Three Sisters garden, which is corn, beans and squash, and they are all really friendly in the garden together. Particularly the beans put the nitrogen into the ground that the other vegetables really like, and then the beans can crawl up the stalks of the corn. But I just didn't have the room, unfortunately, so it's all a bit squashed as it is. Let's just see how it goes. So anyway, that's how things are looking so far. That's the weeping birch, my lovely chair and arch. That's my neighbour's garden. Look at those beautiful yellow roses over there. Aren't they stunning? But we're waiting to build a new fence. And over here, a little dwarf lemon tree. I only put that in at the start of this year, so it's still got a long way to go. We do actually have a large lemon tree at the back, but it's been planted in a really annoying spot. It's right in the middle of the backyard, and it makes it really hard to get things around it, like children's trampolines and things like that. So look, it's still there now, but maybe one day it might not be. So I thought I better put a little new lemon tree in just in case. So that is the front yard. What do you think? It's pretty nice, isn't it? I like it. So it gives me lots of pleasure. It does take a lot of work, but it's really rewarding work. We eat so many veggies from our garden during summer, and this is just the front garden. Wait till I show you what I've got in pots out the back.